Mireille would describe her life as full, but probably not very fulfilling. Like everyone else, she had a 9-to-5 job. Wasn't that the expression? But somehow she had to work from 9 to 6. She worked in the packaging and verification department at Eggtown. A dozen eggs could be no more, no less, and someone needed to count them. Mireille was a senior egg counter, senior because she had been working there for over 5 years. She earned 1 dozen eggs per week. Luckily, she liked eggs. She was a careful budgeter. 7 eggs covered the bills, food, and extras. And she diligently saved 5 of the dozen each week towards the future. Mireille wasn't quite sure what the future would hold, but she trusted the common wisdom that it would be better than the present. Her well-worn routine from home to work involved a short walk to the bus stop and a half-hour bus ride, and the reverse to return home. It was the most quaint and cheerful house on the street, and a lovely home it was, all her own. She liked to cook and had installed a shiny new kitchen. The rest of the house would be renovated as she could afford it, and it would be paid off in 35 years. Well, just 30 left now. What an accomplishment. Work kept her busy, and in the remaining hours of the day, she made time for her hobbies. Besides cooking for herself, mostly eggs, and mainly unadorned. Egg photography was another one of her passions, and she also collected clocks. One morning, on her way to work, she happened to notice the front page of the newspaper. It looked ominous. When she arrived at work, the doors were locked and a sign had been taped to it. She wasn't quite sure what to do with herself, so she went back home and tried to pretend it was a Saturday. The next day, and the rest of the week, she continued to go to work in the morning. Locked doors and a new sign every day. On the Friday, instead of going back home, she went to the bank to make a withdrawal from her savings so she could make it through the weeks ahead. It was not good news. Her eggs had been invested in other commodities, all of which had also lost value. She withdrew a flat of eggs from what remained of her balance and went home to think. What would she do with her newfound freedom? Naps had always been her favorite way to solve problems. Her grandparents had also experienced hard times back in the old country. But apparently they weren't going to give her any specific help or answers today. So she put her house on the market and waited for someone to fall in love with it. She tried to do something every day that would challenge her to be more creative, more spontaneous, more free. She allowed herself greater luxuries than ever before. She visualized what she wanted to manifest in her life. She looked for ways to share her talents and sunny disposition. She expanded her repertoire of photographic subjects to include other foods that go with eggs. She even took a trip to see one of the 7 wonders of the world and righted a few past wrongs. As she accumulated acts of rebellion and creativity, well, mainly just creativity, she found herself feeling an ever-increasing sense of optimism. But creativity and optimism don't necessarily pay the bills. Her dwindling bank balance had started to worry her slightly, so she sent in for a retraining package from the government. It seemed that the main requirement for employment was fitting inside different sizes and shapes of boxes. This did not feel terribly helpful, so she had a nap.
The average hen lays 300 eggs per year. A hen is ready to lay eggs at 19 weeks old, and eggs will hatch in 21 days.
Hatching was something Mireille had never before considered. Her house finally sold. She convinced the purchasers to keep most of the furniture and took only the essentials. She looked at small, affordable apartments and picked one with lots of sun. She put up the photographs, but somehow the clocks seemed to want to stay in the box. She didn't miss their incessant ticking. She felt sure that soon enough her creative career would take off. And in the meantime, she also had a business plan, and her new building did allow pets.